Not now. Okay, go to the public. I have your card here from Eileen Spencer. Hi.
I thank you for addressing the fact that that East Shore parcel is contaminated. We have a public records request in, well, it's actually a FOIA request in at the federal level, and through Sierra Army Depot to get reports on that demolition range, which is actually not really represented correctly here. The maps we have, it comes right, this orange spot comes over into here onto the airfield, the yellow area, so that there's demolition and ordinances of explosives all the way in here and all the way into the lake. The really bad area is right here. There's a 2003 report that I didn't see it in the reports that Maury put together, but it does explain that, and does state very clearly that the Sierra Army Depot, they name it specifically, is responsible for cleaning that area up that I just showed you. In the 2004 remediation report that I gave you last meeting, it's estimated in 2004 that it would cost $2.4 million that CEPA said to go in and clear out all the unexploded ordinances and the toxic waste and everything. It's really a toxic, it'll always be a toxic waste because the report, the 2003 report says that you have to go 12 inches down. You have to take from where I showed you all the way up onto the airfield, the yellow part, 12 inches down to clean up that parcel. And the county isn't liable for that cleanup. I want to make that very clear. Sierra Army Depot is specified in the 2003 report that they are responsible for cleaning that up. So if you maintain that parcel, this is something that the county can pursue. You don't have to spend a dime. You can very politely ask them, because they're liable for cleaning that up, to get the process going to get them, and I mean, literally 12 inches of dirt in that space, that's a lot. That explains the $2.4 million, and probably in today's rate, it's more like $4.5 million. We have talked with, County Health people have talked with federal people back in Washington, D.C., and also we have a letter into Barbara Boxer and Diane Feinstein to restrict you from selling that land. If necessary, Can We Help is prepared to file an injunction so you can't sell it until it's decided by a court that you have the ability to sell that property. So the good thing is that there's a vehicle to get that property cleaned up. Once it's cleaned up, then sell the whole, then it has a value. Then you can sell the whole orange piece going down. It's surprising that it's still on there. I'm glad that you acknowledge that it's contaminated. It's not only contaminated, it's very dangerous. I mean, if you read the report, what's out there, and I don't know if any of you did since I presented it to you, but it's scary stuff out there. There are ordnance and explosives for many years that have not been identified and cleaned up. So from County Health standpoint, and if you just leave that out of the equation until you get it cleaned up, then it might even be purchased by the sucker that buys the yellow part there.
Okay, thank you.
So,
So, especially you expressed interest last time, you might be interested in buying this.
for 4 cents.
4 cents.
Yeah, I went down to 4
So
cents.
if you were to buy this for 4 cents, could you go to the Sierra Army Depot and have it cleaned up?
Yes, I could force them,
You could force it.
yeah.
So,
So it doesn't have to be-
They know they're legally
It doesn't have
obligated.
to be the county.
It doesn't have to be-
No,
The buyer.
whoever the owner is can ask them to clean it up. So if you want to sell, and this is what always amazes me about you guys, the logic in selling, knowing that it's contaminated, and you still want to go ahead and sell it to some schmuck and not tell them about this, it just totally blows me away. The owner of that property is the county right now. The owner of the property should, long time ago, 10 years ago, maybe even in 2003 when you purchased it, made sure that the Sierra Army Depot, in a certain amount of time, went out there and cleaned it up. That way, if that had been done, you could, this wouldn't be an issue today. There'd be a clean piece of property and you could just say, sell the whole thing. That's not the case. That's a contaminated, very hazardous piece of property. And it's up to somebody, maybe you just think that if you don't sell it, you don't have, nobody here has the balls to go and say, Sierra Army Depot, this paper right here, and I can give it to you, says that you're obligated to clean this up, at least 12 inches down on the entire demolition field. So,
okay, thank you.
does that answer your question?
Answer my question.
Okay.
You know what amazes me? You've told us what amazes you. What amazes me, when this first came about, you were saying how many millions of dollars it was worth.
No, I didn't say that.
A few weeks later, you said you would buy it. And then now it's worth 4 cents, and now we gotta clean it. I mean, every week you come here and waste our time with a different rendition.
I waste your time because you don't care to
baloney
listen to the
story.
facts.
You need to get a life and do something else on Tuesdays instead of harass people. Gee, please get a life.
You could resign and that would be fine.
Join the Tuesday Bridge Club or something.
I could bake you cookies, Mr. Wosick.
Okay, thanks. So, where were we at before?
I think we were narrowly in on this option